try to understand the upside that this guy has.
Yes.
And his best football has been yet to be played.
John Harbaugh and that coaching staff of Michigan, they need to get an 11.5 to 23-month sentence for the way that they used him at Michigan. I'm telling you, it was a daggone crime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's one thing. But here's the other thing. Mark, he's lost. I don't know if you have seen, like, his updated measurables and stuff. He lost 15 pounds. He's playing at 215. I watched him down at the Senior Bowl one-on-one, and I was telling you this a couple weeks ago. That dude was working new releases and stuff. He went and studied Javonte Adams. And he told me when I talked to him, he said, man, I was working on new releases, crossover, and those type of things, and it worked every time. And if you watch the video of his one-on-ones, it was there.
Well, and he knew realistically that Michigan had no quarterback.
Zero.
Yeah.
So he was better off opting out and working on his body, which he did. And you're right. This could pay off big time for you. The other guy that I was thinking about, what about was it Tylan Wallace?
Yeah.
Wallace from Oklahoma State. Yeah, I like him.
That's another one like Rashad Bateman. I still don't believe. I got to see Rashad Bateman in person because I don't believe he's the same height as me.
No,
I still think he's 6'3".
No.
And Tylan Wallace is another one where you watch that dude play. It's above the rim.
And he's tough.
Oh, man,
that's a tough joker. Man. He going to run through somebody's face. And he's one of those guys that it brings a mismatch nightmare. I mean, a guy that you can just throw the ball up and he'll make a play.
Go get it.
You want those kind of guys. I mean, I know the Tennessee Titans have Josh Reynolds and they have A.J. Brown, but you have three big receivers like that. Who are you going to cover?
And I don't think there's any doubt wide receiver is certainly on the docket. The draft is about to start. When Roger Goodell hits there,
let's go.
We'll have him live. But our draft sponsors tonight, presented by Apple Collision Centers, Founders Brewing, Freedom Tire Guys, and MTGRT.com. We take a look at TD's top 5. Again, Azeez Ojulari, Elijah Moore still out there. If they fall to 53, good. Tevin Jenkins, the tackle at Oklahoma State, is up there. Rondale Moore, the wide receiver at Purdue, is up there. Christian Barmore, defensive tackle at Alabama. Carlos Boogie Basham out of Wake Forest. And Patrick Jones, the second pass rusher, available as the TD top available on day 2.
And when I say top available on day 2, I'm talking about from stuff that I've gathered, right? This isn't my personal top 5.
Right.
This is from stuff that I've gathered and talking to the prospects or other sources. I think this is how their board looks, and Rondale Moore, I know he's a guy that they really like, and he brings explosiveness.
Yeah, and I love about him when you talk about Rondale Moore from Purdue. What team did he mash up on a Saturday?
The Ohio State.
He had 12 catches for 170. You don't just do that against the Ohio State University.
Roger Goodell is at the podium for day number 2.
There he is.
We had over 30 million people watching last night. Congratulations, Cleveland. The Draft-a-thon also got off to a strong start and continues tonight as we support our communities emerging from the pandemic. You can see all the details on NFL.com/Draft-a-thon. As you can see, tonight I'm joined by several active NFL players, NFL legends who all continue to do amazing work in their communities. And since we're just up the road from the Pro Football Hall of Fame and here in the shadow of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we're joined by a very special group of Hall of Famers. Help me welcome Rock and Roll Hall of Famers from Run DMC, Darryl DMC McDaniels. And the Isley brothers, Ron and Ernie Isley. And Pro Football Hall of Famers, Joe DeLamielleure. Franco Harris. Orlando Pace. Anthony Munoz. Will Shields. John Randall. And this year's class, Drew Pearson. Okay, Cleveland, you ready to get this show on the road? Okay. Day 2 of the 2020 NFL Draft is now officially open. The Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock.
There we go. Jacksonville's on the clock. Welcome to day 2 of the draft. Live from Boom Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House. The Jacksonville Jags are up there. And let's take a look at TD's big board, which is presented by Founders Brewing. Azeez Ojulari, number 1 on the board. Levi Onwuzurike on the board. Elijah Moore, the wide receiver, of course, on the board. A name that didn't go yesterday, I was surprised, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah at 4, and Jalen Mayfield, the tackle from Michigan. What do we think Jacksonville does on the clock here in round 2, guys?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's pretty obvious what they're going to do, and it's going to be Amari Rodgers since apparently
Clemson reunion, right?
Meyer is fixated on Clemson.
Yeah.
If that's the case, maybe they go with Jackson Carman, the tackle. But no, I think they're going to end up with Tevin Jenkins here. They need help on the line, and Jenkins is a first-round talent. He does have the flexibility where you can play him at guard, but I think he's going to settle in and be their starting right tackle, and he's going to go against Bud Dupree and Harold Landry.
Am I the only one that feels like every year at the draft, it's like, what does Jacksonville need here?
Yeah.
Oh, they need offensive
Everything.
line help.
Yeah.
I feel like every year that's the case. Chris, how do you feel about the Jags?
I think they should go with wide receiver because, and I know they have a couple of guys on there. They have DJ Chark Jr., but he still doesn't impress me. He's still not a guy that can be a number 1 guy. I mean, he had like 53 receptions for 706. I mean, that's okay, but you get a guy like Elijah Moore that can step up and make some plays and be a number 1 wide receiver to help, Lawrence. I mean, they still need some weapons at the wide receiver position. They just have a couple of guys. I know they got the receiver from Colorado, but still, you need a guy that can stretch the field and make plays and be an impact player.
Yeah, Visca Chenault, he's not a number 1. I looked at you crazy like that.
I know. Let me
because
explain.
Once you say from that perspective, DJ Chark not being a number 1, I feel you on there. But I think another thing you have to look at is these guys were robbed last year, man. Gardner Minshew, not exactly the best quarterback, and what's the other one? Mike Glennon was in there too. Mm-hmm. It's tough to really see how they'll be with that.
Yeah, but you remember when the Tennessee Titans played them this year, they basically went cover 1 and said man and man and say, I dare you to beat me. That just shows you when a defensive back comes up and press you, they have zero respect for you. So they need to get somebody in there that can take the top off the defense but also come in there and be an impact player to help Trevor Lawrence.
What about Owusu-Koramoah here? I mean, I feel like he may be one of the best players on the board and maybe kind of a playmaker for that Urban Meyer defense.
Well, not only that, but he can play in a lot of different spots. They put him at the jack position last year at Notre Dame, which is sort of rush linebacker. But he can play in a lot of different areas, and a creative defensive coordinator will love a player like that. Yeah. We heard about Elijah Simmons last year and how he would adapt, to this NFL. But I think he'd be a great pick for Jacksonville to be a building block on that defense.
I think he would be an excellent pick also, and it's interesting because, that whole linebacking core, that unit, you have Posluski. Sorry, my man, I mispronounced your name, but, you had him retire, and then you had
Posluszny, okay.
Posluszny, yeah. Then you had Telvin Smith retire, and you lose a guy like Telvin. He's someone that they would use to match up against tight ends. Yeah. They would use him off the edge, and they just let him hey, man, I want you to go out there and just play ball. And that's what you could do with Owusu-Koramoah. So that's a good mention. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, but also he attacks the quarterback. And you definitely want to have a guy that puts pressure on the quarterback, because if you look at last year when Tampa Bay was going against Mahomes, when they pressured the quarterback, he couldn't make his decision. So if they actually get that guy, I'm telling you, it's a plus for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I wonder what is the worst thing that could happen to the Titans with this pick for Jacksonville.
Aziza, God dang it.
Ojulari?
Ojulari. I don't know why I'm struggling with that name. That's like
After Caleb Chase on last year, would they go Ojulari in the second round this year?
And Josh Allen,
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be,
the value's there.
I forgot about Josh Allen.
Man, that's a grown
I'll say this. Think about that rotation, though, if you had Ojulari in there.
Right.
I mean, you can run them in and run them out. And I think they got Charlie Strong coaching the linebackers. And I know Charlie Strong likes to blitz on about every snap. So that is something that I wouldn't disagree with Ojulari going here at that pick.
You mentioned Charlie Strong. Joseph Asai.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
I'm not too high on him.
He's too stiff for me. I don't like. He's
not
able
like Bambi,
to corner.
Right? What'd you say? That
that was Greg Rousseau.
Greg Rousseau.
Yeah, he out there like a baby deer, man. But no, Asai, he's an athlete. He has that. I'll give that to him. But at the same time, he's just so stiff. Like the agility isn't there for me.
What do you think is a stretch for them to go get Jonathan Cooper from The Ohio State University?
I think this is quite early. I think fourth round.
Yeah, fourth
or fifth round, because he's right there in that group. I got him. Yeah, that connection. Yeah,
that's what I was
sure.
thinking. Because Urban Meyer's going to do his homework because he coached at The Ohio State University. So to get a guy like that, he would know his motor, know his tendencies, and kind of know what you're getting.
I have him grouped like with Dalen Hayes from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Dalen Hayes is another one. You talk about Owusu Karamoa. Watching both of those guys, 6 and 9, you're like, wow, man, these guys play together really well. But he's another one I think, could be an impact player later. But I could see him going, a number of ways. And you can never have too many good players. And that's the other thing you have to look at. So if there's a guy that's there like Owusu Karamoa, who's probably one of the top players available, he's the fourth best on my board now. I can see him taking it.
I got a feeling they're going wide receiver.
To the podium, I don't even know who's doing the picking.
Is that Jerry Rice?
He's strutting, though. Look at him. He's stepping.
His back was tight, though.
But the Jags are at the podium. Here we go.
Wow.
2021 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Tyson Campbell, DB, Georgia.
Mel Kiper's first draft analysis.
One of the elite cornerbacks coming out of high school, had a good career at Georgia. Only one career interception, though, because he didn't always finish. Late on that pass coverage situation, he would lose sight of the ball, didn't always bat the ball away, break the pass up, or come away with the interception. That's something he needs to work on. That's an instinctive thing. Hopefully they can coach him up in that area, but he's long, he's athletic, ran 4.38 at 6'1", 193, and played an awful lot of football at Georgia. An immediate starter when he came there as a true freshman.
There you go, Mel Kiper Jr.'s player profiles presented by Apple Collision Centers. TD, you've been very high on Tyson Campbell out of Georgia. So they go C.J. Henderson in the first round last year out of Florida. Tyson Campbell second round out of Georgia.
And they signed Shaq Griffin.
Yeah, that's right.
That's interesting. That is really interesting. I like Campbell. To Mark's point yesterday, he has given up a number of big plays. I love his press skills. I love his man skills. And I think he's long, and he's a guy that is always going to make it tough to throw the deep pass on. Once you could round out that technique and get him to play receivers better.
Just look at him. He's a physical corner.
Yeah.
He's going to come up and challenge the receiver, and that's exactly what you need. And then he's going to be teamed up with C.J. Henderson.
I like that,
you see what I'm saying? Ooh. So you know that it's a pass-friendly league. So you better get some corners that can cover, and I think this is a great pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I get a little worried when I look at a guy like him and, think 5 o'clock hitter. In other words, looks great in the workouts, but sometimes 2 and 2 doesn't always equal 4.
True.
And you get him out on the field, and he just doesn't, perform the way you thought. So we'll find out. This is, right in Urban Meyer's wheelhouse, finishing players, making them better. And now he's going to get a chance.
Jets are on the clock here. 3 minutes to their pick is in. Does this feel like the Elijah Moore pick?
I don't think so. I think this is where Ojulari goes. They need help. Mm-hmm. And
we thought they were trading up for Jalen Phillips last night when they took Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yeah.
And to your point, they certainly need help at pass rush.
Right, because you got Jordan Jenkins who moved on, and you look at Robert Saleh, the way he likes to play defense. You need that pressure off the edge, but you also need a guy in the middle. So I could see, Onzarike. I could see Christian Barmore here too. They could go a number of ways too, because you look at the cornerback position, Asante Samuel Jr.
Mm-hmm. The only question is, where's that person going to live in 3 years? Because the Jets always trade their But the other position, and Javonte Williams, running back, Frank Gore is gumming his corn, so it's usually they would do well maybe to get a young back in there.
He's trying to hang out until his son gets to the league. That's what he's doing.
God bless him.
Hey, if I'm the Jets, I'm going with Elijah Moore. And the reason why I'm saying that is because they got Corey Davis. Just imagine him, Corey Davis, and Jamison Crowder. I mean, that's not a bad, repertoire of wide receivers.
They also have Denzel Mims.
That's what
too.
I'm saying.
So it's like, okay, are you going Crowder or Moore, or what?
I would go Moore. I definitely go Moore because Crowder, he's a guy that's not really going to beat you on a lot of things. I know he's good at the
everything
run at the catch, underneath. But then you add Elijah Moore, it just brings another arsenal to that Jets offense.
Let me see. I know he signed a big deal. I don't know when his contract is up. I could see Moore, a 3-year, $28 million is what Crowder signed. And let's see. So he is a free agent after this year. Dead cap is $1 million.
I'm mad at the Jets anyway. I wanted the Titans to get Carl Lawson and.
I think this may be the Barmore pick. I think Barmore might make some sense for the Jets here.
I could see that. Like I said, you look at when Robert Saleh was with the 49ers.
They got to the Super Bowl on that. Here's picks in. The Jets are at the podium.
Come down and bring that to you in just a minute.
Okay, apparently the pick is in. The Jets are not to the podium yet. So we'll see what former Jet they send to the podium to make this call. But to your point, TD, Robert Saleh, the 49ers got to the Super Bowl based off their defensive line.
Right, but what I'm saying, look at how much they invested, right? You had, Eric Armstead. Then they drafted DeForest Buckner. Bosa on the edge, but I'm talking about the interior guys. And then they traded Buckner and then drafted Javon Kinlaw. It's very clear that he is interested in investing in the interior part of the defensive line. So that's why a guy like Barmore would actually make sense. A guy most people felt would be in the first round. So
here you go.
In the 2021 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select future Pro Bowler Elijah Moore, wide receiver, Ole Miss.
Todd McShay's first draft analysis.
Elijah Moore is undersized, and I get it. He's 5'9.5", 178 pounds, but he ran a 4.35 in his 40-yard dash at his pro day, and you see it on tape. The thing I love about him is he's quick, he's fast, but he's also tough. You don't see many slot receivers that show the toughness that he's willing to show, going over the middle, making tough contested catches, and also blocking down the field. I think Moore, in my opinion, has a chance to be an absolute stud as a slot receiver, and I think he's going to step in right away and be ready to play.
TD, I know you love Elijah Moore. I'm sure you feel bad for him today going to the Jets. Where wide receivers and really every other position go to die.
He'll be out there with Corey Davis.
Hey, you know what?
They can share
that is a Jets player. No disrespect to Corey Davis.
Right.
That's a Jets player. That is this is my time to get a contract. Who's going to give me a contract? And I'm going to get $30 million, and I'm just going to go off and do, irrelevance in New York.
I really do like this pick. We're looking at it right now. Look at his route run. Look at his eyes, and look how he locates the ball. That's what it's all about. And sometimes we focus so much on a guy being a big target for a quarterback. Yeah, that's great. But the one thing about this league is you got to create separation. That's exactly what he does. And everybody talks about him running a slugger route. A slugger route is a slant and go. I watched him run it. The way he uses his eyes, the way he controls his body, I'm telling you, he's going to get better. He's going to take his game to a whole different level.
Yeah, he's an outstanding player, man. There's no getting around that. He's an outstanding player. It's a good pick by the Jets. And especially considering, you know, as we looked at, Crowder's going to be a free agent after this year, so he's going to slide right in. So that's a good projection by you, Chris.
Appreciate you, boss.
I feel like every time somebody drafts a quarterback, they feel like they need to get a wide receiver.
They have to.
And I think that's what this is. I mean, I think this is a great value pick with Elijah Moore at this spot. I mean, they compare. I just see on ESPN they're comparing him to Steve Smith Sr. I mean, Steve Smith Sr. is a Hall of Famer.
That's different.
That's a whole different ballgame.
To me, that's a high bar to pass. Atlanta has traded their pick in round number 2 to the Broncos. So Denver is now on the clock. What do we think about Denver?
That is interesting.
Interesting. I'm stumped, honestly.
Azeez Ojulari,
I can see that.
Replacement for Von Miller.
I can see that.
I mean, they love those pass rushes up in Denver. I'm from Denver, Colorado. Mile High.
Mile High, huh? Rocky Mountain. Yeah, I could see Ojulari. That would be a solid pick, you know, and that would be perfect for him to go up there and learn from Von Miller, be on the opposite side of Chubb. You know, that would be really good for him.
Yeah,
look at Elijah Moore.
When do we feel like the draft starts to form to where we can start thinking about these Titan potential picks? 45 probably?
Yeah.
Right in that mark. Yeah, right,
yeah.
45, 46. Because the thing is, so you could reasonably give up a 4th or a 5th rounder and the 53rd to go up. But really, honestly, with the likelihood of Ojulari going here, I don't really think that they're outside of Moore and Ojulari. Those were really the only guys I would have thoroughly considered trading up for.
So since the Tennessee Titans probably won't get those 2 guys that you named, is it kind of absurd for them to go for an offensive tackle?
If Jenkins is there, I can see that. I can see that. But
you know, like Tevin Jenkins, Walker Little from Stanford, guys like that, they can come in and
Cosme at Texas.
Yeah, they can come in and play right away.
Cosme has some good film. Then he also has some film. You're like, yo, my man, like, what happened? You know, so you got to be careful with that.
That's okay. Most of the Titan team has film that's like good film, and then dang, what happened?
I tell you this though, if Liam Eichenberg is there,
that was the name I was gonna out of Notre Dame.
Yeah, man. If he's there, because that dude is a stallion. Like he's something special.
I just saw Mel Kiper's team needs Christian Barmore, defensive line. Denver loses Jarrell Casey. Could Barmore be that fit to replace what they wanted to have in Casey last year?
I think they're different players.
But kind of undersized a little bit, but can get to the quarterback.
I mean, you know, I get what you're saying, but they're different players. Casey, he is outstanding against the run, too.
Yeah.
You know, Barmore, to me, is a guy that's in a rotation. You know what I mean? That's what they did at Alabama.
And he's more, right now, much better against the run.
Here we go to the podium.
The Atlanta Falcons have traded the 35th pick to the Denver Broncos. With the 35th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Javonte Williams.
Okay.
Running back, North Carolina.
Todd McShay's first draft analysis.
Javonte Williams is one of the most underrated players in this draft. He's 5'9.5", 212 pounds. He ran a 4.55 in his pro day, all solid numbers. But I love watching his tape. He is tightly packed, he's physical, he's strong, and he seeks out contact. He goes after safeties, he goes after linebackers, and he can catch the ball and do everything that you want from him. I think it is the number 3 running back in this year's class. You're going to wind up getting a steal with Javonte Williams because he's an every down back, and he loves the game, and he has extraordinary character.
TD?
What day is today? Fireball Hot Take Friday?
It is Fireball Hot Take Friday.
I'm going to give you one. He's not even the best running back on North Carolina. Michael Carter is better than him. And you look, it's not a rash. Look, right there, he's my number 3 running back.
Mm-hmm.
This dude, he has that Jordan Howard, that David Montgomery to him where people you can't overlook the fact that this guy has like a thirst for contact, right? And everybody talks about Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he gets hit too much. No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
This guy gets hit too much. This guy, I don't want to talk bad about the young man, but he reminds me of a crash test dummy. You know what I mean? And you can't keep going out there and looking for contact. At some point, you got to make somebody miss. Yeah. Michael Carter was a better running back to me. He was more explosive, and also he could catch the ball out of the backfield. And you're trading up to do this? Mm-hmm. Nah, man, I don't think that's a good
But you know
pick.
who he reminds me of? I mean, I agree with you a little bit, but if you watch him, he reminds me of Terrell Davis. I mean, I'm not saying he's that type of player, but he's kind of that type of build. I mean, I know you're giving me the side eye.
I mean, Terrell Davis.
I'm giving you two side eyes.
Terrell Davis. I'm not saying he's that caliber of player.
I gave him the side face.
You gave him the gas face. But if you just look at him, I mean, I played against Terrell Davis, and Terrell Davis was a 6th-round draft pick. But it's kind of the same thing. It was an experiment because Terrell Davis was good in college, but when he got into the league, that's when he flourished.
Also, that scheme he was in.
That's what I'm saying.
He was perfect for that scheme.
Right.
But I don't see the same one cut and get upfield ability that Terrell Davis. That was.
He didn't make you miss too much.
But he wasn't getting blasted all the time too, and he had a little wiggle to him. You know what I mean?
Kinda.
A little wiggle to him. This dude, right? And what happened with Terrell Davis?
Yeah, I mean concussion.
He had to retire early, right?
Yeah, because he did migraines. Yeah.
You talk about he didn't make people miss a lot, so if he was getting hit a lot, guess that's why. So I just look, man. I'm not big on that pick, man. I'm not big on that pick.
Miami is on the clock. They got the pick in a hurry. The Isley brothers are going up to make the pick.
What if they got Ojolari?
Oh my gosh.
Good gracious! Imagine the one draft like you just said. You know what?
Two pass rushers.
God. Boom! I'm gonna make my pass rush dangerous.
That if they do get him, that's exactly
I can see
what
them
they
going
did.
wide receiver.
Here go the Dolphins.
Another one?
Yeah.
At the podium.
You never know.
I say Ojolari.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, you already got a whole bunch of receivers.
They still need O-line too.
Is that the Ashley brothers?
Yeah, look around the eyes. Hey, they gotta move that mic down for him.
They gotta be pushing 80.
Javon Holland.
Holland?
A safe.
They put that pick in there immediately. All right, let's take a quick timeout. We'll be right back on the Draft Show. We're live, Boom Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House in East Nashville. We'll be right back. We'll look at the Titans pick. It's just getting closer and closer. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game. gentlemen, Teron Davenport, Chris Sanders, Mark Howard. The Eagles are on the clock here in the second round, pick 37. The pick is in. TD, where do we think the Eagles are going here with this pick?
I think they're going cornerback, and I think Asante Samuel Jr. is the pick, and he's going to go where the good old Kelly Green, not Kelly Green anymore, but wear the green just like his dad did back in the day. So I think that's the pick.
His dad got all that money to do that. I mean, that was not a easy
and he gave him a lot of
change.
interceptions and big plays too.
So when the Eagles make their selection, we'll have that. Now we're getting to, again, we said maybe around 43, 44. We'd start looking at the Titans. Would you give any thought, if Ojulari doesn't go off the board here, guys, about starting to make a trade up if you're the Titans?
I would look at that at 40. And I would, if I'm Mike Vrabel, I'm putting, the pick is in.
Here you go, Mike Golick Sr. to make the announcement.
Cleveland rocks! Yeah! All right, now for the Philadelphia Eagles, after a fantastic move in the first round to move up to get Javonte Davis, they've got another great pick here. So with the 37th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select a guard from Alabama, Landon Dickerson.
And I mentioned this before. The Eagles.
Mike Golick kind of feeling himself. Landon Dickerson out of Alabama, TD. What do you think?
I think this means that they see the end coming for Kelsey soon, because he could play center too. And they got Isaac Seumalo out of Oregon State in the third round about 3 years ago. I think that's what it means.
Dickerson had a lot of injuries at Alabama, but he also is rock solid technically, and he's got that alpha dog gene. I mean, his leadership skills are off the charts. And when you're Nick Sirianni going in there and trying to establish a new culture, this is a guy. This is a guy that you want.
Here you go, Perfield Yates. The Bengals have traded pick 38 to the Patriots for 46, 122, and 139. The Patriots are on the clock, and the pick is in.
Ojulari's gone.
Where is New England going? Now, they did just sign Matthew Judon to all that money.
I could see them going wide receiver.
So the Patriots moved up 8 picks, and what was that compensation again?
I think it's a pair of fourth-rounders, 122 and 139.
Okay.
I could see Freiermuth going. They need a young tight end.
You think so?
Barmore?
With Jonnu and the other tight end they signed?
Well,
they
what
need
about
a companion tight end?
What about Owosu Koromoa to eventually replace Dante Hightower?
I could see them doing something like that because they like those players that could just do multiple things. Remember, they drafted Josh Uche last year, too, out of Michigan. So
they have Uche, Winovich, and Matthew Judon. I don't think they'd go Ojulari here.
I don't think they would. Yeah, but the value.
That's what I'm saying.
The value.
And you know he wants a fast defense.
Another one I throw out there, Ronnie Perkins. I just saw him on the board, Oklahoma.
What about
kind of a
Asante
set
Jr.?
the edge kind of guy. Asante Samuel Jr.
I like him too.
You do that, you trade Stephon Gilmore, you put Asante Samuel Jr. in there.
Yes, sir.
You got J.C. Jackson, other side. I could see that. That would be their nickel.
Well, in theory, you could let J.C. Jackson go. If you take the corner here, you let J.C. Jackson go, you get your second-round pick back that the 2/4 that you just dealt in order to make it. Goodell's going to make this announcement? That's not Goodell. Who is
He's
that?
announcing the trade.
That's Goodell.
Oh, I guess a fan. Oh, in the chair. There goes the chair. You like that chair
That
there.
is so dumb. But you know what? Good for you. Roger Goodell is at the podium. As we await ESPN to take Roger Goodell.
Rondell Moore.
Here are the Patriots on the clock. The Patriots are selecting whom? Christian Barmore.
There it is.
Yep.
You did say that.
But I said like 7 names, so I'm not sure. It really counts. I said a lot of names. Mark Howard, what do we think of this pick? New England moves up, and they take Barmore. Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl, former Patriots scout, came on my show last week and said he thinks Barmore, that the league really liked Barmore. He thought Barmore was going in the first round. Barmore goes to New England, who trades up and pays kind of a nice price in order to move up and get him.
Barmore is, I want to say, a lowercase Albert Hainsworth type.
Ooh, that's big.
Because towards the end of his season at Alabama, he was unblockable, and just a guy who's still raw, but who occasionally. I remember Jim Washburn, Titans, former D-line coach, said that Albert would make a play or two in a game that would just take him out of his seat when he's just watching video. And Barmore is that guy who just will make the eye-popping play. So Belichick obviously loved who this kid is. I think he's only 20. So that they feel like, even though he's a little raw, he's going to be good for a long time.
Yeah, and I think he's a great player. Last year he had 8 sacks. But the one thing watching him is he has a great bull rush. I mean, he's going to run through your face and really cause havoc. And that's what made Albert Hainsworth so special, is because he can take a double team and he'll run right through him, and that's exactly what this kid can do.
The Chicago Bears have just traded with Carolina. They're now on the clock.
Dang, slow down.
So, again, another trade.
They jumped up from 52 to 30. And say this is giving us some good insight on what it would cost. Because I think at 42, 43, that's where you start to get on that phone.
Start thinking about Ojulari.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get on that phone.
The league must – I mean, I dismissed that Peter King story about the Ojulari knee. Clearly, that is a big issue.
It is a big – I said something yesterday that something's wrong. I mean, when everybody was passing on him. Something's going on, because when you have that caliber of player and you pass on him, something's going on.
They have the pick in. Jared, do you have the compensation on that trade?
I do not.
Because, so with that, all right, here we go. So,
here you go.
The Carolina Panthers have traded the 39th pick to the Chicago Bears. With the 39th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Tevin Jenkins, tackle, Oklahoma State.
I think that's probably a pretty good value pick right there for the Chicago Bears. And we had seen that if they had stayed at 20, there were mock drafts that said that Chicago may go Tevin Jenkins, TD.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good deal for them. They need help on that line. You got a young quarterback there that you want to make sure that he's protected for now and into the future. I'm more focused on the compensation, though. So they went from 52 to 39, and it cost them, in exchange for 39 and 151, they got the 52nd, 52, 83, and 204. So that's very similar to what the Titans will have to give up if they want to. Like right now, they should be on the phone. What's up with Ojulari? What's up with pick number 40? I think 40, 41. Like they need to start working these phones if they really want a guy like Ojulari.
And you better be careful, because I think Atlanta's going to jump. I'm not jump up, but probably going to get Ojulari.
DPs is on the clock right now.
I mean, if they this is the pick that I was afraid of.
Yeah.
Because Ojulari is going to be gone, and if I think J-Rob and Vrabel need to get on the phone and try to figure out a way to jump up and get this pick. They get that pick.
The one guy I think, first of all, I think Dean would want a corner right here, because they got no corners in Atlanta.
They got A.J. Terrell now. That's a
he's
good
How did he play last year?
And they got Cam Dantzler. You know, those are two young, good corners. But, I mean, Terrell, he had COVID for a bit, so, you know, you got to factor that in. Terrell's a very good corner.
He is.
What about Onwuzurike right here? Would that be a decent pick? Because when I think of Dean Pease, I think it starts kind of in the middle of the defensive line. You know, that's where – because Dean will blitz whoever. He don't care. Edge rusher, safety, punter, he'll blitz whoever. But it's that defensive line. He needs, like, the Daquan Joneses
he wants a dog
to
on
eat
that. Yeah.
up
Jarrell
two
Casey,
guys.
Richard Seymour. Yeah. No, I can see that. Haloti Nata.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's had – well, you mentioned Onwuzurike, and here's the thing, right? Jim Nagy, you talked about him and Christian Barmore earlier. Jim Nagy told me that Onwuzurike is a better player, in his opinion, than Barmore. Onwuzurike, I had him on the show, man. I told him, I said, you got those hands like Wreck-It Ralph, man. Because like, when he puts his hands on the offensive lineman, like you really see a joke. And he gets that pressure. He reestablishes the line of scrimmage. He's not going to get you a bunch of sacks, but at the same time, he will help other guys get the sacks by two-gapping and occupying a couple offensive linemen. In addition to that, he does one of the things that I love about defensive tackles, and it's what I love about Jeffrey Simmons, what I love about Fletcher Cox. They run down screens.
TD, if the Titans were to start thinking about moving up, say maybe 42 with the Giants. Here we go, Atlanta.
This is an important pick right here.
This is
it right here.
Go Falcons! Back to you, Cleveland.
Let's hear it for our incredible military. Let them know they're our heroes. Let's go. USA. Okay, with the 40th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Richie Grant, defensive back, UCF.
Let me say this about Richie Grant, Chris Sanders.
Yes, sir.
Jim Nagy of the Senior Bowl said the league liked him a lot more than the mock drafters liked him.
Wow. He went down to the Senior Bowl and worked out as a corner.
Wow.
I'm talking about in one-on-ones, no less, going against these receivers.
I wonder if that's the kind of, if Dean looks at him to play kind of the Logan Ryan role.
Yeah.
Of guy can be a safety, guy can be a corner. Like he's more of a safety who can cover wide receivers, which is what Logan was at the end.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people expected Trevon Moehrig from TCU to be the first safety selected, and now all of a sudden Grant jumps over him.
Yeah.
Not on TD's board.
I had Grant over him all along, but I didn't have Javon Holland over both of those guys.
Yeah.
That's what's so confusing. And Moehrig, with him, you got to watch his 2019 tape. He was better that year than last year, but he is a guy that, a lot of people like.
Does he remind you, Mateo? I can't pronounce his name right. Mateo, from Kansas City.
Oh, Tyrann Mathieu?